interesting component here is the endothelial dysfunction, which is a part of cardiovascular.
Say that twice, quick.
Endothelial dysfunction.
Endothelial.
Nutrient properties that do become medicine when we incorporate them into our diet.
Tell your doc he better learn about this.
One thing that is plaguing most people in the world, which is high cholesterol.
How smart are you about what you swallow?
We want to give you a little bit of a hint.
It reduces people's memory. It may or may not directly be linked to heart attacks or strokes.
That's wild. Welcome to Ingredient IQ.
Brian Clement here, Hippocrates Wellness.
My name is Lindsay Johnson, and welcome to Ingredient IQ.
Today we're going to talk about something that is in the ground, but pops out of the ground, and the part that pops out of the ground is the best, and it's not a weasel.
It's not, man, I was hoping for a weasel this time around.
Weasel juice, as we call it.
Well, before we get you going down the wrong path too much here, we're going to start you off with a little riddle. So blank is one of the most important molecules produced within the cardiovascular system that maintains a normal blood pressure and prevents inflammation, immune dysfunction, oxidative stress, hallmarks of cardiovascular disease. Now we're going to give you a hint, and this is the food that this wonderful nutrient is inside of.
Look at that.
Wow.
Succulent, beautiful, delicious, romantic. What else we want to call it?
I mean, my heart just wants to skip a beat when I see it.
Look at that. Well, this is beet. Now, beet is notorious in Europe because they actually take that root vegetable and they extract the white sugar that they use in Europe out of it. But there's a whole lot more locked in that. And we're not a big fan of using the root or using the juice of the root as popular out there in the world, although it has nutrition in it. The greens, man, these greens. Tell them what they have in them.
Well, they have this amazing thing called nitric oxide in them.
And nitric oxide, nobody knew much about that until the late 1990s. And a Nobel Prize was awarded to a scientist who came out and said, you know, if you have a nitric oxide, that your veins will be elastic and flexible, so you won't end up with hardening of the arteries and end up with strokes and heart attacks, etc.
Yeah, exactly. And so research over the past decade has revealed that inorganic nitrate and nitrate found naturally in green leafy vegetables and other vegetables such as beets can provide the human body with a source of bioactive nitric oxide.
And bioactive means that it's actually going to be usable by the human cell. It doesn't matter if you have nitric oxide, if they make it in a laboratory like most chemical supplements. If you
Supplements.
Yeah, supplements, so-called. You know, read my book, Supplements Exposed. We expose the entire industry with that. Boy, there's great supplements. But when you have it locked into the cells of these foods, they're things that humans, the best top scientists in the world, have yet to discover how to replicate. And I don't think we ever will. That there's enzymatic factors in there, electromagnetic biofrequency fields in it, and you're tuned into scalar waves and the sun and protons and photons and all of this wonderful stuff. And when you can bite into this and get it into your body, it brings the body back to life. It's sort of like taking something that's broken down and you find a way to fix it.
We love fixing things here at Hippocrates.
Yeah.
And
look at that guy.
Look,
he's pretty hip looking.
He's
look at that beard. Is that like Santa Claus in making?
I mean, he's running track. We love it. So
Santa Claus runs track now. He got tired of his big belly.
Well, you know, the thing is, he's using nitric oxide from the beet plant, and it's been shown to improve exercise performance and cardiovascular responses due to that increased nitric oxide availability.
Absolutely. As we speak, they're preparing for the Olympics. People, the top athletes from all over the world are going to the Olympics, and they don't stop them from taking nitric oxide in the food. Can you imagine? There's no test that says food that's healthy is bad for you, and you can't join the Olympics. So these are the kind of foods that have always been available, but science is finally unlocking the knowledge and wisdom so that the top athletes, people who want to think better, people who want to live better, people who have less disease. And nitric oxide is not only opening up the veins and the arteries, but when those cells can move through, your immune system cells, it helps every single person on the planet Earth that consume these wonderful foods to prevent disease.
Yes, absolutely. So another interesting component here is the endothelial dysfunction, which is a part of cardiovascular.
Say that twice, quick.
Endothelial dysfunction.
Endothelial.
Endothelial dysfunction. Endothelial dysfunction is a type of non-obstructive coronary artery disease in which there is no heart artery blockages, but the large blood vessels of the heart's surface constrict, so they get really nice and tight, instead of dilating. So you can imagine this could be a bit of a problem for people. It's
a big problem, and this dysfunction comes because of all the fats that we're eating. Of course, animal fats there, but if you overconsume the wrong type of vegetable fats or ones that they cook at high temperatures and coagulate, or these margarines.
You don't want coagulation.
Coagulation's bad. That's stuck together.
Yeah.
Well, it makes sticky veins, and sticky veins are bad news for you. They actually reduce everything that makes you whole, happy, and healthy.
Yeah, and we want to be happy and healthy. And
you don't want to be whole?
Oh, well, I do want to be whole too.
Whole, happy, and healthy.
And then healthy. Okay. So it's the genius three here.
You want to be half happy and healthy.
So nitric oxide, it will release from the endothelium, plays an important role in the regulation of vascular tone, and it really helps with keeping that, like Brian was saying, that vein elastic, and so that it's not calcifying and getting hardened. And then you add all the different fats that are flowing through that vein on top of it. It sounds like a recipe for a heart attack.
Well, most important, you have platelets, and platelets actually hold your cells together. It's one of the few times there was some genius in medical technology and terminology. So they actually say, this is what pulls a cell together. So it actually improves that ability. So you have stronger cells. So as we age, the cells naturally start to come apart. This will maintain that so it doesn't happen as readily. Second, your leukocytes, the white blood cell, the soldiers in your body that go around and find all the bad guys and beat them up and get rid of them, knock them out, is actually far more functional. And so this nitric oxide, the more we learn about it, and remember, it's only been 25, 30 years since we've understood this in any significant way in the scientific and biological and nutritional community, the happier we are about it. As a matter of fact, it's a big part of everything we give people here. And frankly, up until 25, 30 years ago, we didn't realize why people were getting well at this particular level. We understood why cancers and diabetes, but the cardiovascular, because our entire diet here is loaded with nitric oxide.
It is. And cardiovascular disease, I mean, #1 killer. And so if you're doing something to help prevent that from being a part of your lifestyle, I mean, how much better will your lifestyle be? So we have a nice little chart for you here that talks about the environmental risk factors that play into vascular dysfunction and cardiovascular complications, which is what we don't want. We want to stay away from that, especially all of us Americans here eating, all the terrible things that exist out there. So what's happening is with your diet, your lifestyle, the nitric oxide is what they call uncoupling, and it's playing into this whole dysregulation.
Uncoupling? This is like a divorce lawyer? Or
it's like they don't want to be a part of you because you're not eating the right stuff, and they're out of here. They took the dog, and they're gone.
That's terrible. I mean, it's unbelievable. I didn't know they broke up couples.
Yeah.
And so you better get nitric oxide if you want a happy marriage. But the thing that's really important to understand, oxidative stress is ultimately how we all die. No matter what the doctor writes on the death certificate, it's oxidative stress. And so when you start to realize that you have age rage, look at that on that chart. Age,
wow.
Isn't that a hit name?
It is.
I think that should be a rap song.
It should.
How should it sound? Age rage, bump, chump, 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 chump. So age rage, we can get rid of that. We can get rid of oxidative stress. We can get rid of inflammation. And you can actually get rid of a lot of the problems that will plague you when you're not living healthy. Once you consume something as simple as the greens of beets.
Yeah, and again, these are the delicious foods that we here have at Hippocrates Health Institute, all about the raw, living, fresh foods that contribute this nitric oxide to your body and just goes into the overall health of the people that come here.
Yeah, and I can tell you can be part of this. I mean, we welcome you here to Hippocrates. Come anytime. This is a lot of fun. Tomorrow night we have the rock band coming in. Did you know that? Do you have your go-go boots ready?
I do. They're shined up.
You should see how shiny they are. We have to wear sunglasses when she comes in with
I
those
use
go-go
wheatgrass
boots.
juice to shine them up.
Oh, yes. What we do, they're actually made out of sweet potatoes.
Oh.
She shines them with wheatgrass juice, and she puts nitric oxide on
Wow.
just as a fuel.
Yep, and she's the most powerful dancer on the dance floor.
You should see it. It's like jet fuel dancing. So till next time, just think about your life in a way that it's pleasant, so that you do pleasant things to make health and happiness be well.
Till next time, this is Ingredient IQ.